Clay was enjoyable experience. Our flight was fun, and we arrived eager to meet new friends and learn all that we could. I would like to thank Greg and Carrie Frostad for chaperoning us and arranging all of our activities. At Clay, we had presentations about being a refugee and all the struggles they endured. There were also First Nations presentations. We learned some of their traditional games and learned they created the game of lacrosse. Every day, we would have a large group gathering and would sing and clap. I really liked their band, especially the drummer. I would recommend Clay for all the youth and attend and enjoy. Thanks for allowing me this opportunity.
Clay was pretty fun. I met some nice people. One of my favorite parts was Meet the Strangers workshop and listening to other people's stories and how hard it was for other people to get to Canada. It was also fun when we all sang together in large group gatherings. I also liked the First Nation games and learning new games what other people grew up playing. I also learned a lot about refugees, like I didn't know that they lived in camps for most of their lives. The ups and downs they had to go through just to get to where they are now. Then on my birthday, everyone in my group said happy birthday to me, and we ate cake and had lots of fun and good laughs.
Cool. All right. Clay was a miraculous experience. We were able to travel together as youth, showing a bit of our independence. We had the opportunity to see Niagara Falls and take part in the natural beauty that God created for us. Best of all, we were able to learn about youth and the impact we can make on social justice issues and the role that the church has in this endeavor. There are concerns that politics and church should not meet. The sacred and secular are two separate entities. We found this very interesting, as many social issues were present in the time that Jesus walked on earth. Jesus cared for the poor, healed the broken, cared for the lost, and loved sinners. This year, the theme was ashes and embers. Do you see the glowing in the ashes? The embers are still alive in us. God used fire for many important events in the Bible. During our time at Clay, we were to write down a concern. These concerns were all burned. These ashes were then wiped on our foreheads. Clay made us stop and think about what we needed to restore in our lives and in our kingdom. Acts 14-16, the apostles asked Jesus, "Lord, is this a time when you will restore the kingdom to Israel? Look around. What part of the kingdom do we want restored?" Clay gave us opportunity to sit in prayer with others and by ourselves. This was a great time of reflection after our minds had been open to new thoughts and ideas. Some of the ideas were not new. We just needed to reflect and think about the ideas in a new light. Some of the sessions we attended were focused on Indigenous studies and welcoming newcomers into our community. How many of you knew that June 20th was World Refugee Day? How many refugees are living in our little community of Estiman? Something we could do is learn about the hardships some of these people endured in their lives and the process it was to get to Canada. We have never invited a refugee into our church to talk about some of these issues. Have we invited the newcomers from Ukraine? Ukrainians are not considered refugees under the program that they come into Canada under, but these individuals have left family and loved ones and a country in shambles to try and save themselves. They have left sirens and bombs echoing through their streets. How can we reach out to people and share our love of God and one another? There are many other newcomers that have come to Canada under less than desirable circumstances. What can we do to create a better life for others in these situations?
The main speakers were Indigenous individuals. They spoke on truth and reconciliation and the effects. Did you know the last residential school closed in 1997? I am proud that we are having a blanket ceremony next week. I am proud that we are having a speaker next Sunday and that we have the opportunity to be a part of smudging. But it goes deeper than that. How can we change our hearts? How can we live together, maybe differently, but in unison? This is where the question comes in. How can we restore our kingdom? Ideas that we brainstormed were Recognizing Freedom Sunday, which takes a look at human trafficking, we all know that many people oppressed in different ways and through modern slavery. Can we recognize this as a church, making us and others more aware around us? I know very little about this, but know that it does affect our community. What other global issues are around us and what we can recognize, learn about, or make a difference. We are the people who can do that. Could we invite others to join us in these tasks? We need to be the models to restore our kingdom. As a church and a small community, I feel we are very open-minded. I have never heard someone comment about different abilities, genders, race, or cultural practices. I have heard us move to get out of someone's seat, but if this is our biggest problem, we are doing well. We need to move towards issues that may make us feel uncomfortable. When I look around at the people in this church, I see open-minded, creative individuals. How can we restore the kingdom? We need to thank you for supporting us in this adventure, but now it is our turn to give back. We will work towards those social justice issues where politics and religion should never meet. Ideally, we need to move towards a world where religion is our world and politics are governed by those and that want justice for all, and a world where we are free to share our religion, whatever that religion may be. Please continue to help us restore the kingdom of Israel.
This is interview time. So, if I was going to ask you the most memorable thing, the one thing, whatever, the one thing that happened or that you would go, I saw God there, what would that be?
At the large group gatherings, there was like people who were sharing their stories about like how they got into religion, and they also had like all the songs were about religion, and they were like really upbeat and really fun.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Well, I mean, when we like, while we were given like a piece of paper and like a pen to like write on something, it could have been like just an issue or just something that like you might be insecure about yourself, and then they just burned it, and then they kind of like rubbed it on our foreheads after, and it's kind of like,
Oh, yeah.
like it
Okay.
doesn't matter like what other people think also like of you. It's just
It's just like that smoke
Yeah.
goes up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Probably at the large group gatherings when everyone like sang all together, so it showed that we were all together as one.
Right.
When the keynotes would talk about on what they went through when they were growing up as kids from different cultures.
And so you met Pastor Anita.
Yeah.
I know Pastor Anita. I didn't say anything to her about looking out for you guys. Pastor Anita, I do know, plus some of the other youth leaders. I met her, like one of the keynote speakers, I met her when I did a young adult and youth thing in London, Ontario, many, many years ago. That was the time I first met our bishop as well, who was a part of that. So I guess you're going to create some changes around here.
Yeah.
You heard him, yeah?